can still remember since the first day he called me. And I said, yes, I will come. And I trust in you, and I think it's going to be a wonderful project. So I saw myself from the day one. I think today you can see how the team have developed and have changed on the good way. And I think, yeah, to be honest, I'm really, really proud and happy to be part of this great club and to win. Well, Leo trophy, not as you, but small trophy, and I'm really happy about it.
Well, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've told you that I love you, and I've got the press offer on your shoulder. I want you to go and celebrate. So you go and celebrate and go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, sure. Today I think it's a massive day, incredible day. I think everybody have to celebrate, and I can't wait for it.
Sadio, always good to enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Hey.
Well, Kara certainly thinks he's the most important of those front three, but it's the way they work together. It's their dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, and I love Roberto Firmino. You know, you look at Sadio Mane and what they've done, but I think he makes them tick. If Ian Rush plays in this team, he'll score 40 goals, but the other two wouldn't score as many because Rush is a typical number 9. Whereas what Firmino does by bringing them into play, vacating that role for both of them to make these inside runs to score those goals. Firmino, for me, is my favourite player, but this year, Sadio Mane has been the best.
Kara's joins us now. Yeah, I think you terrified the life out of him.
I do love him. I can't help it.
He'll be knocking his door tonight when he gets into the house.
You see that smile, you see the team. And the reason I do love him is because, listen, the recruitment here, the players we see now, the team we see now, it wasn't like that when Jurgen Klopp first came in. And to take that team, the first step was to get back into the Champions League. And people forget, Liverpool had not become a UEFA Cup team, a Europa League team. He was the man that got Liverpool back into the Champions League, and without that, Jurgen then doesn't have the funds, that summer maybe to go again. And I just think it has to start with someone, the manager's the main man, don't get me wrong, but that first season, and also what he did second season, because Salah come in and almost took his thunder. He had to move position to the left, and he's been an absolute superstar.
I agree. I think Mane, arguably the star of the show, if you like. He's a little warrior. You would say he's not silky, he's just so aggressive, and you wouldn't want to play against him because he's at you all the time and wants to fight with you. And he's quick and so aggressive, and I don't think any defender would...
Sounds a bit like you.
No, Osho's quick. I'm going to be attuned to that.
That's what I the cards.
You know, when you say it's the most important signing, I think you can look back where Liverpool went from a very good team to a great team. Is when they sold Coutinho, they got whatever it was, 160 million quid, they got Van Dijk and they got Alisson, and they still had about 30 million quid in change. That's got to be the best bit of business this club has ever done.
Absolutely.
Well, apart from maybe buying you.
Manager gambled a lot of money back then.
But look, you talked about this before the game and before when we were standing up on that podium earlier on, and you were saying this has almost been a perfect storm for Liverpool. They haven't had massive amounts to invest. They've had to sell to spend. They're not struggling, but they haven't been big spenders the way the teams above them have. I mean, in terms of the spending table. But they've had the ability to spend money. They've had, leave me alone, it's been a long day. They've had the ability to spend some money. They've had a good recruitment policy. They've had the right manager to develop those players. And they've also had a set of players who are hungry for success.
Yeah, I'm sure if I did ask Jurgen Klopp the secret of being so consistent. And that's driven by the manager. But we've all been in dressing rooms where, and I never get fed up with saying this, you can't be successful at any football club unless you've got good senior pros. And I think the senior pros would be driving that consistency and we just don't drop our standards here as well as the manager. But you touched on recruitment. Recruitment is still the single biggest thing you have to get right at a football club. Because one follows the other. If you're recruiting well, you're getting leaders, you're getting players who are talented, you're getting the right type in your club, and then that self-perpetuates itself to this marvellous team we've got here. And I seem to finish every sentence with this team ain't going nowhere. This is going to be the team to beat for a while.
But it's also not just about the ability when he talks about, when Graham's talking about the players they actually bring in. Everyone automatically thinks about hundreds of millions of pounds and great players. The mentality is the most important thing. And that is why I think that, you look at players who would cost a lot of money and they think, would they come to Liverpool or would Liverpool want them? He looks at the mentality first and foremost. That's what Liverpool always did. Looked at your character to see whether you'll fit into what they want, rather than thinking, you're a great player, so we're going to sign you. So the mentality which he talks about is the most important
Do
thing.
you think they should be buying this summer?
I think they should be strengthening the squad, not necessarily going out to buy a superstar like they did with Werner, for example. Would Werner come here and not play, be happy to play, he may cause problems because he wants to play. I don't think we're going to go and buy superstars. I think we're going to strengthen the squad, but But if you look at our best 11 or 12, I don't necessarily think we're going to look to upset that.
John, Graham, Jamie, thank you very much for your time, albeit brief this evening, Kara. This is what's coming up for you on Sky.